Do you just weigh safe versus unsafe relationships via a yardstick of physical abuse and violence? Then there is so much more that you need to know. Today we talk about the top 5 signs of being in an unsafe relationship. Physical abuse just being one of those. Welcome back to our little corner of honest conversations and genuine insights. I am Simi, your go-to person for all things holistic living and self-discovery. An unsafe relationship? Think of it as a situation where you are not feeling quite right about the way things are going with this person. It's like you're not feeling valued or respected, and then there is this sense of harm or discomfort hanging over you. Maybe it's because of emotional pain, physical harm, or even controlled or manipulated behavior. Basically, it's just not a healthy vibe. It's like your gut is telling you something's off, and it's important to listen to that feeling. Let's talk about the top 5 signs or red flags of being in an unsafe relationship. So, the first sign of being in an unsafe relationship is feeling anxious around this someone. Now, it's normal to have some nerves or butterflies when you're with someone you care about, but when that anxiety becomes constant, particularly when you are anticipating how they'll react to what you say or do, it can be a big red flag for an unsafe relationship. You will observe that around them, you are always anticipating their reactions, walking on eggshells around them, constantly second guessing what you should say or do because you are afraid of how they will respond. This is a sign that something might be off. You may also sense a heightened sensitivity around them, always hyper aware of their mood swings or subtle changes in their behavior. It's like you're always on high alert, ready to adjust your actions to avoid ticking them off. This heightened sensitivity can be exhausting and a clear indication that things aren't quite right. There may also be a remembrance of past instances of aggression. It's like you're constantly bracing yourself for another outburst. That's a major warning sign. You may also identify with a history of control and manipulation. Maybe they use tactics like gaslighting you or emotional blackmail to get their way. If so, it's no wonder you feel anxious. So feeling anxious around someone isn't something to brush off. It could be a sign of a toxic dynamic characterized by fear, control, and manipulation. If any of this sounds familiar, know that this isn't exactly the best for your mental health. Isolation is the second tool used by this person to maintain dominance and power over you. You may observe that this person is very discouraging of your social interactions. This person may subtly or overtly discourage you from spending time with friends and family or anyone else they perceive as a threat to their control. They might criticize your friends, make you feel guilty for wanting to see them, or create conflicts to deter you from maintaining those relationships. In most extreme cases, this person might actively prevent you from seeing or contacting your support network. They may monitor your communication channels, restrict your access to phones or computers, or even sabotage your attempts to reach out to others. This person aims to make you dependent solely on them for emotional validation, companionship, and support. This dependency strengthens their control over you, and you become increasingly reliant on them for all your needs. This person may portray your friends and family as untrustworthy or unreliable, making you doubt their intentions and loyalty. This manipulation further reinforces the idea that this person is the only one you can trust. Over time, isolation may become normalized in such a relationship, making it seem like a natural, acceptable part of your dynamic. You might even convince yourself that this is normal. The effects of isolation are profound and far-reaching. It not only limits your access to outside perspectives and support, but also undermines your sense of identity and autonomy and self-worth. Recognizing isolation as a form of control is crucial in breaking free from such an unsafe dynamic in your relationship. Talking about manipulation, well, experiencing manipulation and gaslighting is the third sign of being in an unsafe relationship. Gaslighting often involves someone outrightly denying events, conversations, or actions that you clearly remember happening. They may insist that something didn't occur or that you are exaggerating or imagining things. For example, you confront someone about an argument you had with them last week, but they adamantly deny that it ever took place. They may say things like, I have no idea what you're talking about. We never argued about that. In addition to denial, they may distort the truth or manipulate information to make you doubt your own perception of reality. They may twist facts, selectively present information, or reinterpret events to suit their narrative. For example, this person may accuse you of being overly sensitive and misinterpreting their behavior. They might say, I was just joking when I made that comment. You are taking it too seriously and blowing things out of proportion. Such people often deflect blame onto you, making you feel responsible for the problems in the relationship. They may minimize their own actions or portray themselves as the victim to avoid accountability. For example, after a heated argument, someone blames you for their outburst, saying, if you hadn't provoked me, I wouldn't have reacted like that. You always know how to push my buttons. I mean, excuse me? Such people gradually erode your confidence, your self-esteem, and trust in your own judgment. For example, someone repeatedly tells you that you are too sensitive, irrational, or forgetful whenever you express concerns or objections. Over time, you begin to doubt yourself and rely more on their version of events. Gaslighting and manipulation is insidious and can have long-lasting effects on your mental and emotional well-being. If this is happening, then you are in an unsafe relationship. The fourth sign of being in an unsafe relationship is physical and verbal abuse. This kind of behavior is so destructive that it can actually mess with your mental and emotional well-being. Physical abuse is when someone inflicts any kind of physical harm or violence on another person. It can start small, like a push or a slap, but it can escalate to much more serious stuff like punching or kicking. And let me tell you, it's not something to take lightly. Physical abuse can leave you with bruises, broken bones, and even worse. It's serious stuff. And then there's verbal abuse, which is just as damaging. This is when someone uses words to control or manipulate you or tear you down. It can be insults, yelling, screaming, or even threats. It chips away at your self-esteem, making you feel worthless and powerless. And over time, it can really mess with your head, leading to anxiety, depression, and a whole bunch of other issues. Think about it this way. If someone is constantly putting you down, criticizing you, and making you feel like you're not good enough, that's not love. That's abuse. Plain and simple. So if any of this sounds familiar, please know that you are not alone and it is not okay. This is an unsafe relationship for you. The fifth sign of being in an unsafe relationship is control over your finances and decision making. In an unsafe relationship, this other person may restrict your access to financial resources, such as controlling all bank accounts, credit cards, and cash. For example, they may demand that you hand over your paycheck to them, and they control all the money in the household. They give you a limited allowance for personal expenses, leaving you financially dependent and unable to make purchases without their approval. Controlling individuals often make significant decisions unilaterally, even without consulting their partner or considering their wishes and needs. For example, they decide to sell your house and move to a new city without discussing it with you beforehand. They may justify their actions by claiming to know what's the best for both of you regarding your opinions and preferences. Controlling individuals may use financial control as a tool for manipulation and coercion, threatening to withhold money or resources to exert power and control. For example, someone threatens to cut off financial support or kick you out of the house if you don't comply with their demands or if you express a desire to leave the relationship. This threat of economic instability can create a sense of fear and dependency, making it harder for you to assert your independence. By controlling the finances, the controlling individual can create a sense of dependency, making it difficult for you to leave the relationship and establish financial independence. For example, someone discourages you from pursuing employment or education opportunities, insisting that you stay home, take care of the household, responsibilities, and everything. They use financial control as a means of keeping you reliant on them for basic needs, trapping you in this relationship and limiting your options for escape. So financial control is a red flag that you are in an unsafe relationship. It can have far-reaching consequences like trapping you in a cycle of dependency and making it harder for you to leave the relationship if you're not happy. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with some closing thoughts. If you recognize these signs in your relationship, know that these are strong signs and that you have to think about them. It's important to reach out to trusted friends, family, or professionals for support and consider steps to ensure your safety and well-being. Remember, you deserve to be in a relationship where you feel valued, respected, and safe. If that's not the case, it may be time to consider taking steps to prioritize your own well-being. Thank you for watching, and please take care of yourself. Bye-bye.